February 22nd, 2018. The time is 6:30. Roll call, please.
Anderson. Clemens. Clifford. Coert. Cruz. Esri.
Here.
Furtado. Goss.
Here.
Harper.
Here.
Hartke. King. Marsh.
Here.
McGuire. Mitchell. Patterson.
Here.
Petrie.
Present.
Rector. Rosales.
Here.
Storr. Summers. Tinsley.
Present.
Weibel.
Present. We have a quorum. Prayer and pledge of allegiance. I just realized I don't have a prayer, but I'll make one up. Heavenly gods, please stop the rain. Amen. Pledge of allegiance. Would the clerk please read the notice of the meeting?
Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the County Board, Champaign County, Illinois will convene on February 22nd, 2018 at 6:30 p.m. in the Lyle Shields Meeting Room, Brookins Administrative Center, 1776 East Washington Street, Urbana, Illinois, in said county for the purpose of allowing and ordering payments of claims against the county, receiving and acting upon reports of committees and such other matters as may be brought before said meeting, which said meeting shall continue in session from day to day until the completion of said business.
Thank you. Seek approval of the agenda and the addenda. So moved by Mr. Rosales, second by Mr. Esri. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next up on the item is something from the addenda. Mr. Rosales.
Seek approval of the rescheduling of the Thursday, March 22nd, 2018 meeting to Tuesday, March 27th, 2018 at 6:30.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Harper. The reason, of course, is that that week is spring break, and I know a number of county board members will be gone, including me. Discussion. See none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Going on to our next meetings, the Facilities Committee meets on Tuesday, March 6th at 6:30. Environment and Land Use at March 8th, Thursday at 6:30. Highway Transportation at Friday, March 9th at 9 a.m. in the morning in the Highway Building. The Committee of the Whole will meet here on March 13th at 6:30. And of course, the County Board meeting now is meeting on Tuesday, March 27th at 6:30 in this room. Public participation. We have one person so far, Miss Amy Felty.
Thank you. I just wanted to bring to your attention the flyer that I hope is at everyone's desk, and I can bring you one if you didn't get one. We often show the film Racial Taboo, which you can't get on Netflix, you can't buy, you can't borrow, you can't do anything unless we actually show it, because that's how the filmmaker has it set up. We actually usually show it on Thursday night, and I've begged and begged for them to show another Sunday one. So we have Sunday, 10 days from now, at the Mennonite Church in the afternoon. Doors open at 4, film starts at 4:30. The 53-minute film, a discussion of how racism got started in this country, ends at 5:30, and then there's a discussion group. We'll have 14 different small group discussions. We truly invite you to come, and now I'll take testimonies from the board members who've already seen it. Geraldo? Oh, he smiles.
I'm sorry, we don't allow communication during the public participation. They can wave.
Okay, but please do come. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Is there any other public participation? Please come forward. If you would fill out one of those white forms afterwards. Okay. We'll get it for you. Just come ahead here. You need to turn the microphone on over there, and thank you, Mr. Goss.
I'm Vaughn Sadler. I live out in Scottswood Addition. And we've been trying out there to get improvements made. And the picture that is being passed along is what we call the bus house. That bus house has been there for over 5 years. And we thought that it was going to be taken care of. In fact, we were assured. And plus all the cars that's parked in front of the house until, this past 2 months, they had no plates on them. But now they have stickers on them. I don't know how they accomplished that. But now we found out if the bus can move 2 feet or 4 feet up and 4 feet back, it can stay. At one time, that bus was loaded with trash, clear to the ceiling. You couldn't get in and out of it. Now, since they've been told that they can remove that trash and it'd be just fine, except now the trash is in the backyard and on the side of the house. And I did read the rules about that, and I think Hall is right. It can be very legal to leave all those cars and the bus and everything there, but maybe you need to make an amendment. I just don't think that's right for the neighborhood to have to continue to put up with that. I mean, we have so many more problems out there also, but this is a biggie. And I want to give you guys some good news. The Sheriff's Department has now had their ordinance made so that they can remove cars that can't run and don't have stickers and everything now. They just had that, and they're getting their new tags that they're going to be out. So by maybe next month, we can start getting rid of all those cars that's in the street with flat tires and windows broken out and such. So I am really appreciative with that. But we do need a lot more help out there. The house that was burnt on Dodson Drive that's supposed to be removed this year, I went by and did a run by. Now the people on the side of the house is pouring couches and stuff over the fence that you guys put around, and I went into the back, and it looks like somebody pulled up from the back and dumped a bunch of trash there too. So that's all I have to say for tonight. I do thank you for all the help that you can give us.
What was your name again, for the record?
Yvonne
Yvonne.
Sadler.
Okay. Is there any other public participation?
I apologize. I had to work late tonight, and I'm running a little bit late.
It's all right.
My name's Michael Van Pelt. I live at 2424 East Green Street. I live 2 blocks from the bus house. I bought a house thinking I could help turn my neighborhood around. I sat here brokenhearted and very discouraged. Told me that we could get that bus cleaned up and get that. He played you guys like a fool. Said that he was moving and he'd be gone by the first of the year. I talked to his neighbor. He said they had no intention of moving. He has no intention of cleaning his yard up. He told us the rest of the neighborhood could go to hell because he doesn't care. But I have to live there. I have to live next to that. I have to drive by it every day. If the rules aren't on the books now, we have to get something done, get some rules with some teeth in it. Because I'll tell you what, if he doesn't have to follow the law and he can skirt around it, and if he can dump trash out of his backyard, and if he can keep a junk school bus in his yard and 5 other vehicles parked in the yard where grass ought to be growing, then why other rules? What is this board here for? If the rules that we pass are not going to be enforced or to help our neighborhoods, I jokingly said I'm going to start raising hogs at 2424 East Green Street. I know the rule says you can't raise hogs. The rules also says you can't have junk vehicles and a junk school bus in your yard, but somehow he's getting around that. We need your help, board. It's discouraging. That neighborhood could come back alive. We've made a couple progresses. We've got a couple of junk vehicles hauled out of there. We've got a lot cleaned up. Mrs. Hyatt sent one participant, all their junk's cleaned up out of their yard. I talked to the elderly neighbors who live next to that junk house. They're just happy as can be. We can turn this neighborhood around. You have concerned citizens that want to help, but I got to have your help. And the guy with the school bus is laughing at us. Thank you.
Any other public participation? Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any items you wish to take off the consent agenda? We could have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Moved by Mr. Hartke, second by Mr. Goss. Roll call, please.
Anderson? Yes. Clemmons? Yes. Clifford? Yes. Coert? Esri? Yes. Furtado?
Yes.
Goss?
Yes.
Harper?
Yes.
Hartke?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
McGuire? Patterson?
Yes.
Petrie?
Yes.
Rector? Yes. Rosales?
Yes.
Storr?
Yes.
Summers? Yes. Tinsley?
Yes.
Weibel?
Yes, motion carries. Okay, communications from board members. Mr. Storr.
Yes, I want to note the passing of the eminent engineer and surveyor, Mr. Tom Burns. Mr. Burns was the proud founder and president of Burns Clancy Associates. He is also a past state representative. Mr. Burns, among his many accomplishments, was to help to bring to Illinois the height modernization program, which doesn't sound like much, but what it does is brings in vertical benchmarks and precise leveling to establish vertical datum throughout our state, so that when drainage districts do their surveys, the water runs where they think where they'd like it to run. And that's no small thing in a very flat state. He was also instrumental in helping tie all those to the modern modern vertical datum, and bringing statewide LIDAR, which is what we use now to improve the flood-prone areas maps that we depend on to help make decisions about what can and ought not to be constructed within areas that are susceptible to flooding. This is just kind of a small thing that I worked with Tom on. It amounted to millions of dollars that were brought into the state and into the University of Illinois. Tom's, of course, has been known for a lot more than that, but we'd certainly like to bring to the attention of the board the passing of this fine engineer.
Well, there we go. Thank you, Mr. Storr. We do appreciate your comments, and I back them up. Mr. McGuire.
I would just like to add my comments to Mr. Storr, and thank you for bringing those up. Representative Burns was a great guy, and everybody that knew him appreciated his honesty and his friendship, and we thank him.
Any other comments? Brooks, you have something? Yes, sir. Okay, go ahead.
I attended 2 weeks ago a meeting with that Chapin Rose sponsored regarding the Muhammad Aquifer. He's introducing 2 bills that affect what happens with the aquifer that we should all be in support of, I would hope. They require very specific type of reporting. This last leak was reported, but it was reported in such a way that it would take a chemist or a scientist to understand that something happened. It also requires a remediation fund, and a remediation fund is very common in the industry and just doesn't happen to cover our aquifers or people's gas or people like people's gas. So it's very important legislation, and there's met with the municipalities of everyone in Champaign County and actually over Decatur, and members of the new Muhammad Aquifer Task Force support it. So.
Thank you. Any other communications from board members? All right. No, you're not a board member, but go ahead.
Just a reminder to everyone that this Sunday from 1 to 5, there will be an art fair at the nursing home. It should be a really great event for the nursing home and for the community. The Friends of the Nursing Home, the nursing home staff, and SAK have all worked extremely hard to put this together, and I hope that all of you will be able to attend. Thanks.
Thank you, Deb. All right, let's move on to the next item is seek approval of the minutes for January 18th, 2018 regular meeting. Moved by Mr. Rosales, second by Mr. Ezra. Discussion of the minutes. See none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next up, nursing home quarterly report presentation. Mr. Anderson, you have the microphone.
Thank you. Board members were sent a copy of the fourth quarter 2017 Champaign County Nursing Home report. In front of you under the yellow copy or cover sheet is that report, pages 1 through 20. It pretty much encapsulates the nursing home's activities over the last, the fourth quarter of last year. It's nothing that you haven't already heard in this boardroom. I don't feel the need to go over what we've already heard because we're talking about things that occurred the last quarter, which was ended over a month and a half ago. But if there are any questions, I'm available for those. Otherwise, just be placing this report on file.
Any questions from Mr. Anderson? All right. Oh, Ms. Petrie.
Yes, does anybody know current census at the nursing home?
I believe it's 138.
Thank you.
That's 138 of yesterday. I get it 24 hours later. Sorry. Further questions? Okay, we'll place that on file. Thank you very much, Mr. Anderson. Moving on to standing committees, we have nothing from facilities or ELUC. We have a couple items from finance. Ms. Furtado.
The first item is I move adoption of resolution number 2018-35, authorizing payment of claims.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Goss. Discussion. See none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2, I move adoption of resolution number 2018-36, authorizing purchases not following purchasing policy.
Second by Mr. Hartke. Discussion. No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I move item number 3, adoption of resolution number 2018-38, authorizing payment of nursing home fiscal year 2018 property liability insurance premium from self-funded insurance fund and subsequent internal billing and repayment from nursing home fund.
Second on that, Ms. Cowart. Discussion. See none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Go ahead, new business.
And I believe this one needs a roll call?
Yes, it will.
Okay. Adoption, I move adoption of resolution number 2018-37, authorizing budget transfer 17-00014, Fund 091, Animal Control Department 047, Animal Control Administration, And 247, Animal Warden Services, total amount of $3,471, and the reason is to cover insurance costs.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Hartke. Discussion. See none, roll call.
Anderson. Clemmons. Clifford. Cowart. Esri.
Yes.
Furtado.
Yes.
Goss. Harper.
Yes.
Hartke.
Yes.
Marsh.
Yes.
McGuire. Patterson.
Yes.
Petrie.
Yes.
Rector. Rosales.
Yes.
Storer. Summers. Tinsley.
Yes.
Weibel.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Furtado. We have one more item from litigation.
And
Mr. Rosales.
And with that approval, new business, Section B, litigation, I move the adoption of resolution number 2018-16, approving forbearance agreement between Health Pro Therapy Services and the Champaign County.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Hartke. Discussion. Mr. McGuire.
Wanted to make sure that some issues were brought up. So this agreement doesn't start till May 1st?
Correct.
Correct, yes.
If we do have to make payments out of general fund, of those amendments to the budget require 15 votes?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
there'd have to be a transfer.
Okay, thank you.
Are there further discussion? Ms. Furtado.
I just would like to commend the staff and everybody who's put a lot of time in working on this.
Further discussion? Okay, Mr. Goss.
Yeah, I don't like this from the standpoint of, I think this just kind of, I think this just kind of opens up the door for a series of these kinds of agreements, all of which for vendors that are not being paid or that are over this. So I will be voting against this.
I'll point out that this vendor is one of our current vendors. Okay. Further discussion? Ms. Petrie.
I understand where the money will roll from to cover this amount, but should other vendors follow suit in this practice, will we be able to take care of that in some rolling thunder of funds?
If I could tell you that, I'd be in Las Vegas.
Is that where you're going spring break?
I can't predict the future that well. And I'm sure you're aware of the situation we're in. Further discussion? Mr. Marsh.
Passage, just a comment. Simple math would say if everyone came at us at one time, we obviously aren't paying our bills right now, so no, we couldn't do this. So with that, I understand the need for this agreement, but I would just caution that we still need to put our employees first in having a fund to make sure we're able to pay their next payroll above any of these agreements.
Yeah, I will tell you, we're working on, we'll hopefully have something at the next meeting for that.
Thank you, Chair.
Further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, show of hands who approve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I find a majority. It passes? Okay. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Rosales. And is there any other business? I think we've covered everything. Well, okay, what's the score of the game now? Okay, Purdue by 11, it's probably as predicted. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you very much. Oh. Next meeting is 27th, that's right.